As a consequence of improving my editing skills, we're going to talk about JESSNER peels again. DJ, music. I had a conversation with a friend of mine earlier this week, and I was like, oh, if I'm going to redo a couple of videos, this would be a good one to redo because this is the time of year when I start going to the Medi Spa. First, a JESSNER peel. Who is this for? So this is the sort of treatment that any and everyone can benefit from, no matter what your skin type, what your age, what your skin tone is. I discovered this treatment back in winter, just before Christmas 19. I was talking to a coworker, and this was somebody who was a similar age to me, but she had porcelain skin. And we were just talking about Medi Spa stuff, and she said the words JESSNER peel, and suddenly my ears pricked up, and I was like, what is this? I need to look further into it. So a JESSNER peel is what they call a mid-depth peel. It's a combination of three ingredients at 14%. Lactic acid, we know, I love, it works incredibly well for me. Salicylic acid, BHA, so goes into the pores. And then riscorsenol, which is this hyperpigmentation ingredient. Lots of brands use it. It's not an uncommon ingredient, but this is at a high concentration. So it's really going to help tackle pigmentation, acne, any number of skin concerns. In doing my research, I found an article. It might have been either Nylon or Birdie. I'm going to share with you the screen grab and the link to it. If you're like me, maybe you want to read something that's going to help you to commit to this and want to get on board. So I'll share that link with you. Let me circle back to something important. So there are superficial peels, mid-depth, and deep peels, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong. Now, I know a deep peel is something like a TCA, which is a very aggressive treatment. It's really for people who have ice pick scars from acne. You know what I'm talking about, or people with deep lines. Now, I don't fall into that category, so I'm not the deep peel person. Then there are the superficial peels, the really gentle ones. I'm not the person to spend money on a gentle chemical peel at a spa. It doesn't make sense to me. I have a high tolerance to acid, so I want something more corrective, more active than just a gentle, So when do you want to do this? This is classified as like a lunchtime facial. It's the sort of thing that you can do in the middle of the day and continue on into your night. So the last time I had it done would have been around February of this year. I know for sure that that was a day where I had the treatment, and then I went out that night for dinner immediately. You don't have any shedding or any sort of redness immediately after. Your skin just looks incredible. And then a couple of days after is when you start to see the shedding. So once daylight savings hits, that's going to be my cue to start booking facials because I want to hedge my bets. I want to have it done at a time of year when I'm going to get the least amount of sun. That way I know whatever benefits I'm getting are not going to be countered by any sort of incidental sun exposure, right? So I live in Canada, short days, long nights. Therefore, this is the time of year for me to have this service. That's my MO. But you do whatever feels right to you. Now, where do you have this treatment done? Basically, any sort of Medi Spa, doctor's office, plastic surgeons. I'm sure plastic surgeons do this, but typically it's Medi Spa. So the sorts of places that will do laser, Botox, injectables. Just do a Google search, see what's available in your neck of the woods, and see the reviews on Instagram, TikTok. If you're old, Yelp. Any number of places. See what people are saying about the place and start from there. So the why is a big one. And this is the time of year when I want a reset. I want to reboot. I want to just kind of erase any sort of residual marks or scars that I've accumulated throughout this year. This is like my opportunity to just kind of hit the reset and get a nice even complexion going into the new year. So that's why I do it. When you go for the treatment, you will have a consultation with your esthetician. And depending on the level of correction or your objective, you have that consultation with them and they will tell you how frequently you should come in. They may recommend a course of 4, and it's not just a selling thing. You may have skin that needs that level of correction, but whatever's in your budget, but definitely talk to the professional and see what they recommend based on whatever your objective is. So how does it work? The practitioner, the nurse, whomever is doing the service is going to ask you a series of questions to make sure about allergies, etc. They'll lay you down, they'll clean your skin, and then they will disinfect the surface of your skin by using some alcohol. Then they will proceed to apply the solution. They'll do one pass, let you cool down for a couple minutes, and then go over with the second, third, subsequent pass. About 10 or 15 minutes later, you're done and you're on your way. And then just a good to know, in my neighborhood, it costs about $200 tax and tip all in. And so, that's not cheap. I'm of the opinion that if you have a very clear objective in terms of what you're trying to see in your complexion, rather than trial and erroring any number of serums and creams, it's always best to consult with somebody who's a medical professional and see if there's a service or an intervention that you can get that's going to take you from A to B. It's going to be a lot of money up front, but the end result is going to be there. You have to do your due diligence, read reviews, etc. I like my skincare products. I love buying beautiful creams, etc. And I will continue to do that. But I know that the fastest way to get to my end goal is to go to a Medi Spa and get treatments. I've been having a lot of I'm so sorry for the glasses. I've got a headache, so I needed to put the glasses on today. The first time, like I said, I had this done was back in 2019. So this was just before CV19 showed up. And I had one treatment. It went great. Then I went back for a second treatment and I had a new esthetician or new nurse this time. And when I was talking to her, she was like, "Oh, do you want to take a step further? Do you want to make it work that much harder?" And I said, "Yeah, let's up the ante." So what she did was she added a retinol booster to my skin. The first time I did it, I had a little bit of dusting. The second time I did it with a retinol booster, skin was shedding in sheets. And this was during that time when I was still working in the office. So it's quite full on. I really could have done with a mask at that time because it was really bad. I couldn't put enough Cicaplast on my face to hide the dryness. It was a bad scene. This year in 23, I had a treatment done March, possibly February, I don't remember. But the esthetician or the nurse who I was working with this time said to me very clearly, if you have a retinol, you use a retinol tonight and keep using it as aftercare. I have a small bottle of Sunday Riley Luna, and so I was using that as my nighttime treatment because the Luna oil is a combination of retinol, a form of retinol, and it's very, very moisturizing without being greasy. You do what feels right to you. Maybe you need to just go soap free and active free. Your skin may not have a tolerance for this sort of stuff. And as a daytime, Dr. Sturm sun drops, again, very emollient, high sun protection. It was a great treatment for the daytime. No gray cast, high sun protection, very rich product. So it was perfect on top of any number of creams and oils that I was using at that time. Oh, for gentlemen, what I tend to do, so the Thursday night I will shave leading up to the Saturday's appointment. But you want to give your skin full 24 hours to heal up. I hope you found that helpful. If you have questions, leave them down below. Thumbs up, thumbs down, do whatever feels right to you. And as always, thank you for listening. Thank me for speaking, and I will catch you in the next one. Adios.